Our topic is Golden Retriever myths. Jenny, what's another myth?
Another myth is that golden retrievers are easy to train and well behaved because of their intelligence.
Or that they come out of the womb that way.
Or come out of the womb that way. Yeah, there you go. Yes, having bred many, many puppies and trained many dogs, I think that generally speaking, they are easy to train because they want to please their people, us. But the well behaved part is another myth that they don't come that way. They need to learn and practice the skills that we want them to learn in our human world. And I'll start with the story of Tracker being the first golden that I trained and going to class. He was a handful, but he picked things up very quickly. And as watching in class, everybody practicing, and Tracker would get bored. It was, I already know how to sit. I already know how to walk beside you. What do we do now? And then he would get, a little impish. The challenge was keeping a step ahead of him, that he was picking skills up so quickly, and that truly has gone down his line, down to Moxie being his
A
granddaughter,
clone.
that she really was like, I already got that. Start spinning around. And so there is that easy. Goldens, generally speaking, are, I'll say, easy to train in that they want to please. As long as you are sure about what you're doing, they learn quickly. The problem happens when we keep repeating things over and over again because you're in puppy kindergarten or you're in beginners classes and you're still doing sit. They're like, I know how to sit.
Yeah, they're quick learners, generally speaking. Now there is a range. If we take in the bell curve, we
Yes.
do have a range of the speed with which a golden retriever might learn. They're not all the same, but compared to other breeds, they are more open and willing to learn because they do want to please and they are connected more to people than some other types of breeds. So there's a desire to please, and then that ties into that willingness. However, it gets into this discussion of, did they learn that skill and they just know what to do or how to do it? And do they need to do it in many other situations? Generalizing the principle so that it has universal application. They can sit in different situations, different circumstances, different people, etc. Then that's intriguing to them. It's like, oh, sit. Oh, I know how to do that. I can put my bottom on the ground. But can I do it when I greet somebody outside in the front yard? Can I do it when we're at a dog show? Can I do it in Tractor Supply? What's the person's definition of well behaved? I want to go back to that because your definition of well behaved might be different than mine, might be different than someone else. I was just talking to a prospective puppy couple for possibly one of our dogs in the future. And we were talking about this, and they had some experience doing training with other dogs of theirs and other breeds. But you've got to define what that is, because they were saying, well, I did this with my dog to a point, and then she kept jumping on people at certain times. That's where you have to define what is a success, because, you and I have that. Our dogs, when you have somebody who, where they're being greeted by people all the time and it's all cute, the dogs jump up and greet them and they say they know not to do it, but in their excitement and when they do it, and we have so many people who like say it's okay, and we end up constantly trying to, and we finally are just like, okay, well, we're not going to counteract that. And that's what this couple was saying. They ran into the same thing, that there were enough people that caused that kind of reverse experience. It's like, I don't want my dog to jump, but you're saying it's okay. So now it becomes how perfect do we want this dog to be? I think that's something you and I talked about. We're not trying to reach perfection where it's every single time. That's just not realistic.
I think
That's important on the well-behaved kind of
right. And I
arena.
think that that's something that we do with our, puppy families and how they go through our puppy raising process of helping them to define what well behaved means for them. And
Right.
as a family, or, if a couple that, does it mean the same thing and that each person has
Oh,
to do
yeah.
this?
Yeah. That's right.
Thing that seems to come up a lot is like, well, I did puppy kindergarten, I did beginners, and they should know this. They should know how to walk beside me because we've done it 10 times. Training our two baby puppies right now, the world is new and different. Now, the leaves were blowing around, they were a challenge to be behaved on a leash. And now the petals falling from the trees and,
Yeah.
oh, this is here now. And
Right.
last night it was raining, and they've been out in the rain, but you would have thought that they'd never seen rain before. It's these contexts that practicing to take that principle and apply it, and then go, I practice it. And I think that people forget that learning takes time. And being a fourth grade teacher, and 7 plus 5 and 8 plus 4, how many times do you have to do that? You still have adults to go 12, or
Yeah.
that it's like, but you've done it a gazillion times and you still have that challenge with it. And I think that the dogs are not going to be perfect because we can't put them into context everywhere and expect perfect behavior. Service dogs, another story. In general, it's really how we're communicating with our animals, and you can't just do it one time. I don't want my dog to jump on the counter. It really is goal setting and going, well, when does it happen and what's happening before that?
Right.
Why is it okay that I jump on this person, but you don't want me to jump on this person? Dogs don't see that way. You can jump on the kids, but you can't jump on the older people. So we really have to help our families to understand that while golden retrievers are, quote, easy to train and want to please, often you're the one that's giving them the miscues that are stumbling blocks in saying that they're well behaved. And if you want a perfect dog, that doesn't happen. We're not perfect. We can say, I'd like you to behave this way in this situation, and then you practice it. And when you get it, yay. And if not, what did I do that set up a situation that something didn't happen the way I wanted it to?
Also think about stages.
Yeah.
One of the things we talk about early on, especially with the new puppy families, that from 2 months to 4 or 5 months, get up to 6 months, and you have that angel period that's on the AKC site. They're angels, they're perfect, they're doing everything we ask them to do, and we haven't really challenged them so much where they're learning some things, but we've taken them out somewhere, but maybe not quite as much, and then they start to move into their teenage rebellion slash independence. They're learning, growing, and they move into this for another, I classify as a year and a half until they're almost two. They're exploring their independence. And that means that, yeah, I know how to sit then, but I don't necessarily want to sit now. That's part of my independence. Do I get to choose? When do I get to choose things? And I would like to do it here, but not there. So you have to raise your game, but they've still learned something. Things have shifted now. There are different obstacles and challenges, right? So without getting in all that detail, there's a stage to look at. And what people have to adjust to is they were in one phase and they were doing ABC that I trained them to do. Now they're in another phase and they're not doing it quite the same way. So it's not that they lost that ability to do it. They're in this new phase and you have to take that in consideration. So then we can get them to adulthood. Then you get through that sweet spot of 3 to 5 to 7 years, whatever that is. And then they get into seniordom. And then it's a different stage.
Yeah.
And look at some of the dogs right now that are older and they were ideal as adults. Like Tang, what are you doing? She's digging into things, stuff that she would never have done before. That the only thing I can think of is she's just in a different phase right now. She's exploring from a senior point of like, oh, I never did put my nose in a trash can and pick up every single thing that's in there and chew it up. So I think I'm going to try that now. I don't know, but things change, right? So some excitable dogs settle down, others go up. My point coming back to it is part of the context is what stage is your dog in
Right.
order to determine what you're doing with them in that easy to train. Tang was very easy to train in many, many, many ways. Right now, she's kind of stubborn.
Yep.
What happened to that easy to train stuff? She's like, "Ah, yeah, I made you guys happy for a long time. I'm doing my thing now."
Going back to something that you said too about dogs in different stages of development, and they're looking at it through different eyes based on their
Yep,
hormones or what
yep.
they're going through. It made me think about with kids, you start off taking your kids to McDonald's. You can
Mhm,
behave a certain way at McDonald's. And generally
mhm.
speaking, you're not taking your toddler to a fancy five-star restaurant because they're not ready for that behavior, or the other restaurateurs are going to be upset with that behavior. We have to teach them these different behaviors. And I often think about the way we communicate with our dogs, that they don't speak English and we have to teach them, these manners in our world. So, for example, I was out working with one of our puppy families, and we were walking around a local shopping center, and their dog was jumping and carrying on. They kept saying, "Four on the floor, four on the floor." I had to pull them aside and say, "What does that mean, four on the floor? Because clearly your dog doesn't know what that means." And they're like, "Yeah, we told him, we've worked on that." Well, he doesn't get that. We have to teach that and reward it and practice it in different contexts before you add all the other distractions. He's not speaking your language right now. He's not going to do that until you teach him that. That was very eye opening for this couple, that we say it, so he should get it. I'm living it right now with Bam. Bam is 18 months old, and he's been out and he came back, had a nice recall, and he's in full blown adolescence, and he's going, no, I'm not coming on Bam, come. We started
Yeah,
playing some games and I was like, ready, set, go, Bam. He was like, okay. And he run to me and jump around.
right,
Okay, that's the game we're playing right now. We'll come back to Bam, come and get back to that place. But his head is going, no, I only want to play these games with you. And
yeah,
it's taking them from where they are. Is he a bad dog? No. Is he not well behaved? Well, he's still not in control of all of his body parts. So as he comes crashing into me, trying to get between my legs so I can scratch his behind, dude, you're a little bigger than you were before. You're going to knock me down. It's coming to our dogs from where they are, and then what's our expected behaviors, and then working with them. Tang, perfect Tang. We need some reminders here about
yes,
what these
exactly.
behaviors are in the house. And then go, do I want to work real hard at it, or do I just want to lift the garbage can up?
Right,
It's not worth that effort.
right,
And it doesn't mean that she's not well behaved. It just means that I just need to put something in a different place because I don't want to work on it that hard.
right. It's like, do we wanna leave the cookies in the cookie jar that the kid can get to, or do we just put the cookie jar away? Don't bring cookies in the house.
We as the owners and the humans have to, what am I doing? Am I just going to wish this away? I'm going to, oh, I wish they had better behavior and make excuses for it. Or is it that important to me that I want to do something about it? Just because their dog
Yeah.
jumped on people doesn't mean they're not well behaved. It means that they chose to not work on it.
Just to wrap it up, that easy to train compared to other breeds, yes, they're easy to train, meaning they're more willing to learn and please the owner for whatever the owner's asking.
Yes.
From there, there's a lot of steps and a set of different variables over time that will impact that trainability and the stickiness of that skill that they've learned. Also, taking into consideration what the definition is of well behaved or whatever the term is or state that they want their dog to be in at some point, and being clear connecting those things and how much you do want to work with the dog, reconciling some of those pieces, stringing some things together so that you have the dog of your dreams, the dog that you want and enjoy and have maximum love and experience and life with that dog versus minimal frustration, etc. So the dog can be who you want it to be in your life.
Yes. Yep.
Okay, myth busted again. Thanks, and we'll see you all next time.